Hey everyone, it is Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and we are in a writer's workshop today. Our lesson is revising from the heart. All right, let's get to it. So, our Ignite. We're going to start with gaming. I know most of us play and some of us don't, and that's okay. But bear with me as I'm using gaming as an example. Some of these games include Among Us or even a board game like Catan or Monopoly. So let me pose this question for you. When we try our best at a level or stage but don't make it, what do we do? Take some time to reflect and answer the question in the discussion on Schoology to explain what you do when you don't win or pass a level in a game. So you should pause the video and answer the question. Otherwise, when you are done, okay, let's go on to the next slide. So, after you answered the question, right, do you just quit playing the game forever? Do you try again to get better? So, here are some things that you could do, right? Some games you just have to quit, right, if it is bad for you, okay? So we see that throughout gaming or throughout any competition, right? There's always going to be toxic players, players that talk trash or they just don't have a good attitude. Okay, we should try to avoid those kinds of players, right? But in a game you love, in most cases, you try again to get better. Similar to a draft. When you draft a piece of writing, you don't always pass, win, on the first time. We try again and we try better, like a video game. When you draft, it's like you're trying to pass a level. When you revise, it's like you're starting over again, looking it over and trying to do better than last time. So here's what I want us to do today. Today, I want to teach you that revision is about seeing things again and writing them better. One way to do this is to linger at the heart of your story, the most important part, and write it better by adding more to it. So, what is the heart, right? The heart is the beat to the story, it gives it life. If we don't know or don't have the heart of the story and what gives it life, all we have is a drifting story. And we don't want a story with no heart. That would make for a sad one. So, to revise the heart of the story, first we have to find it. Everyone has a heart to a story, but it is different for everyone. But one thing holds true, okay? It is that it is the most important part. It might be the part where the trouble gets worse and worse, when tension has really grown, right? It is when we realize where the trouble is. When we find the heart of the story, it helps to write that part longer with more details. If you know where the heart of the story is in your writing, make sure to go back and add details and expand to the passage. So, we're going to go ahead and read a passage from my story. So, I'm going to read this text that I've been working on. Okay, it's a new story. While I'm reading, help me find the most important part of the story, the heart. So, my story is about when Sniffy ran away. Let's go ahead and read. "What's up, Sniffy?" I said to my cat, petting his fur to calm him. Meow. I sat in the back of the family car, and my best friend in the world, my cat Sniffy, kept meowing in my ear. Meow, meow. Right? Sniffy did not like car rides. We were driving him to my cousin's house before we went on vacation. Meow. I covered my ears. All that meowing was getting on my nerves. Suddenly, the car came to a stop. We had arrived. I unbuckled my seatbelt, got out of the car, and yelled, "All right already, we're here. Would you stop meowing?" Sniffy jumped out of the car Sniffy jumped out of the car and into the woods. I looked and looked for him, but I couldn't find him. Finally, I went inside. Okay, so there is my story. So, what is the most important part here? Take some time to reflect and answer the question in the discussion on Schoology to explain what you think the heart of the story is and why that is. Okay, so go ahead and answer that question. You should have finished that by now. All right, so I could say, right, the most important part is when the cat is driving me nuts, right? Just meowing in my ear. But as I reread this, right, it feels to me like the heart of the story is the moment I yelled at Sniffy. I felt guilty about that part. I felt guilty about that part. But I think the main thing really is the part where he ran away. And I have to stretch that part out. So now that I think I have found the heart of the story, I need to linger here and say more, right? The part where Sniffy ran away, I need to go back to that exact moment and tell the story of that one part, telling it in tiny steps. So here's what it is. I remember Sniffy jumping away from my outstretched arms. I was surprised. I could see him heading for the trees. I remembered feeling a little annoyed and thinking, "Are you kidding me? Now what?" And being a little relieved to be rid of his meowing. I started calling for him, expecting him to come. When when he didn't, I started to worry that I would never see him again. So there are my thoughts of what happened, right? During that whole moment. Okay? And I'm expanding my emotions, my thoughts, right? So this is my expanded draft, the heart of my story, right? And did you see how I just told my story bit by bit? Now, here's my revision. So here's what I would add. I jumped out of I jumped out of the car and held my arms out to grab Stiffy. But he surprised me by jumping right past me, off the back dash, onto the seat, and onto the ground. He took a moment to scratch behind his ears, and when I tried to pick him up, he sprang away and ran off into the woods. I could see his orange legs pumping. He couldn't get away fast enough. Part of me felt relieved to be away from his nonstop meowing. So, come back, Sniffy, I yelled, but he kept going. When he disappeared into the trees, I thought, at least he's back outside. But my heart sank a little. I wasn't sure how I'd find him. I wish I'd been more patient. I didn't know it then, but I would never see Sniffy again. He was my first pet, my favorite pet, and the pet that ran away. So, did you see how I reread my story to find its heart? Then I went back to the part and remembered how it happened, and I wrote it with details, envisioning what happened bit by bit. So, You have to revise the heart of the story, right? This is what the lesson is all about, okay? Revising the heart of your story. Now I want you to try it. Identify the heart of your story. Replay that moment in your mind and add more to it and revise it. So, what is the heart of your story? Why is it important? Remember, after you have found the heart, replay the moment bit by bit. What happened? What did you do? What did you say, think, or feel? So, in your review, okay, remember you should be spending at least 15 to 20 minutes each day writing, okay? Think through your personal narratives and your fictional narratives. So, in your discussion on Schoology, with the work you did for your chew, okay, what is the heart of your story? Why is it important? Remember, after you have found the heart, replay the moment bit by bit. What happened? What did you feel? What did you think? Okay, so tell us the heart of your story. Tell us why it is important enough to be the heart of your story. Lastly, remember, know the difference between seed ideas and main ideas, right? From the watermelons that we drew, okay? So recall the main seed ideas and share with us your story, the heart of your story. All right. That just about sums it up for our writers workshop. I hope everybody is doing well, and I'll see you soon on Wednesday. All right. Adios, and see everybody later.